Imagine fighting an enemy army with nothing but fake tanks, sound effects, and inflatable weapons. No bullets, no armor. Just illusions. Sounds crazy, right? Well, during World War II, that's exactly what a secret group of American soldiers did. They were called the Ghost Army, and for decades, their entire mission was locked away by the government. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the real story behind this unbelievable unit. We'll uncover how they fooled the Nazis, saved thousands of lives, and remain one of the best-kept secrets for more than 50 years. And you'll want to stay until the end, because their final mission was so bold, it sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood movie. This isn't a legend or a rumor. It's one of the smartest and most creative wartime operations ever carried out. Let's dive into the hidden world of the Ghost Army. The Ghost Army, officially known as the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, was brought together in 1944, but these weren't your typical soldiers. The unit was filled with painters, actors, sound engineers, architects, set designers, and even future famous artists like fashion designer Bill Blass and minimalist painter Ellsworth Kelly. These were creative minds, recruited for one very unusual skill: their mastery of deception. The US Army had a groundbreaking idea. If artists can trick the human eye and ear, maybe they can trick an entire enemy army. And that thought gave birth to one of the most unique deception forces in World War II. So, how did they pull it off? The Ghost Army had no heavy weapons. Instead, their arsenal was made of pure illusion. They used hundreds of inflatable rubber tanks that could be carried by just 4 men, but from the air or a few miles away, they looked completely real. They had fake artillery, fake jeeps, and even inflatable airplanes to fool Nazi spy planes. It was a traveling roadshow of military might, but it was all a lie. Then there was the sonic deception. The Army's sound engineers went to real US divisions and recorded everything: the clatter of tanks rolling, the rumble of truck convoys, soldiers building bridges, even the casual chatter of troops. They then blasted these recordings through massive speakers that could be heard up to 15 miles away. At night, a small group of Ghost Army soldiers could sound like an entire armored division on the move, convincing German intelligence that thousands of troops were massing where there was, in fact, almost no one. And they didn't stop there. They mastered radio deception, creating what they called spoof radio. They would mimic the radio traffic of real divisions, copying their unique communication styles and even their operators' mistakes. German spies listening in would report that a specific US unit was in one location, when in reality, that unit was secretly moving somewhere else entirely. Their entire job was to be a phantom force, pretending to be much bigger and stronger units to mislead, confuse, and manipulate the German high command at every turn. The Ghost Army carried out more than 20 major deception missions, each one a high-stakes performance. Let's look at some of their most famous operations. Shortly after D-Day, as Allied forces were struggling to break out of the Normandy hedgerows, the Ghost Army was called in. They set up a massive deception, using their inflatable tanks, fake convoys, and sound effects to make the Germans believe a huge attack was being prepared in one area. The German command fell for it, moving their panzer divisions to counter the phantom threat. This opened up a critical gap in their lines, allowing the real American forces to punch through and advance. In another mission, the Ghost Army was tasked with holding a very thin, weakly defended section of the front line. To convince the Germans that the line was heavily fortified, they pretended to be to full divisions, that's 30,000 men. In reality, there were only about 1,100 of them. They set up fake command posts, drove a few jeeps in circles to kick up dust, and used their sound trucks to broadcast the noise of a massive force. They successfully drew German attention and artillery fire away from the real, vulnerable troops. But their masterpiece was Operation Viersen, the crossing of the Rhine River. This was expected to be one of the bloodiest, most difficult operations of the war. To give the real divisions a fighting chance, the Ghost Army staged a spectacular diversion. 10 miles south of the actual crossing point, they created the illusion of a massive buildup. They inflated their entire rubber army, broadcast the sounds of bridge construction all night, and filled the airwaves with fake radio chatter about the upcoming attack. The Germans completely bought it. They repositioned their artillery and troops to defend against the fake crossing. Meanwhile, the Ninth Army crossed the Rhine further north with far fewer casualties than anyone anticipated. Many historians believe this single deception saved tens of thousands of American and Allied lives. Now, you might think the Ghost Army had some kind of special protection. They didn't. They operated extremely close to the front line, sometimes just a few miles from the enemy, with only small arms to defend themselves. If their bluff was ever called, if a German patrol stumbled upon them inflating a tank, they would have been wiped out in minutes. The risk was immense. But they kept going, believing that every fake tank they inflated and every sound they broadcast was helping win the war without firing a shot. After the war, the entire Ghost Army project was classified as top secret. The soldiers were ordered to never speak about what they did. Not to their friends, not to their families, not even to other veterans. Their incredible story was buried in government files for over 50 years. Many of the veterans passed away before the world ever knew the truth about their service. Finally, in the 1990s, the mission was declassified. And in 2022, the men of the Ghost Army were awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, one of the highest honors in the United States. It was recognition that was long overdue. The Ghost Army proved something incredible. War isn't just won with brute strength. Sometimes, it's won with imagination. These artists, designers, and creators used their creativity as a weapon, saving countless lives and helping to shape the outcome of World War II. And for decades, no one even knew they existed. Now, their story is finally being told. If you enjoyed this piece of hidden history, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Let me know in the comments, what secret military story should I cover next? The Navajo Code Talkers, or the real story behind Operation Mincemeat? Thanks for watching, and stay curious.